All right, we're going live to YouTube in 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. And we are live. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Awesome Hardware, the tech news show that Paul and I do every single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on twitch.tv/awesomehardware, as well as our respective YouTube channels that we alternate between every week. I hope you guys are doing well. I know Paul and I are doing well. We are excited to host this show for you, host this episode for you today. We've got a lot of tech news. This is going to be a very straightforward episode. Pretty much just going to be diving into a lot of hot topics that are going on right now in the tech world, in the gaming world. We're going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, a lot of the reviews that have already started rolling out, and all the other little bits and pieces about this launch that are very interesting. We're going to cover all that. We're going to talk about the crazy robbery that was done at an MSI Chinese headquarters, where $340,000 worth of RTX 3090s were stolen. We'll get into that soon enough. But for now, I am Kyle. Paul is Paul.
And I'm Paul. Sorry.
Paul is Paul.
Thought you were queuing me up.
We should have coordinated that better.
I know.
But we also like to have a refreshing adult beverage on stream once in a while. What did you? Ooh, you got the Rasputin.
Get a little raspy here.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Raspy.
That's good stuff right there.
Oh.
It's the bee's knees.
It is good.
I got a new whiskey. It's called Blackened. It's because it's a whiskey blend that's aged in black brandy casks, and it's 45%, so 90 proof. It's very tasty. I'm enjoying it, and I hope that whatever you guys are drinking at home, you're enjoying as well. So cheers.
Sounds delicious.
Cheers. Thank you for being here.
Cheers, everybody.
Prost. And before we dive into the actual articles, Paul and I, if you'll excuse us, we're going to whore ourselves out for a quick second and tell you that our stores are open for business. We've got holiday sales going on.
Indeed.
Holidays are here. We've got holiday shipping details that you can check out on my page, and the shop is just bustling. All kinds of new hardware.
It's bustling.
We just added some keycaps. These are actually really nice. There's a backlit option, so if you have an RGB keyboard or just any backlit keyboard, these will actually bleed through. You'll be able to see our classic heatsink logo light up, and it's in multiple sizes as well. So check those out. We've got gift cards now, a bunch of other stuff. COVID masks, of course. Everyone mask up. Paul also has a holiday sale going on his store. And
yes.
Plenty of nice-looking hoodies here. I'm digging the color scheme and the vibe with the Andy Warhol design with the thumb screws. Nice. It's a good time to invest in a good hoodie because it's getting colder.
Tri-blend wicking hoodies, Kyle, please.
Yes, tri-blend wicking hoodies. Yeah, I got to read the fine print.
Yeah, they're great. So
yeah, and these definitely look like high quality. They look super high quality.
Yeah, it makes you look better when you wear them, and they're comfortable.
Yes.
And
they will strive to have good fashion sense. Even as a tech enthusiast, should never ignore our own beauty.
Of course, we always say that. That's kind of our
motto.
Yeah.
It's kind of how we are. So yeah, go ahead and check those out. We'll give you a loud Johnson shout out at the end of the show if you happen to pick up anything from either of our stores. And I think we had a couple announcements as well. So we're doing a charity stream this Saturday on December 12th. It's going to be huge. It's going to be at least an 8-hour stream. Have we decided? I think Paul and I are still ironing out the exact start and finish time. But we'll be updating you guys.
We were aiming for 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right?
Okay, so we're gonna try to tentatively aim for 10 a.m. then. And then that'll go to 6 p.m. if all goes well. It's going to be a fun stream. We're just going to be gaming and hanging out like we have in years prior. We've done charity streams in December before. We're going to be raising money for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, I believe, right? Isn't that correct?
Yes. And in fact, because there are giveaways that go along with this pretty much every year. So we have. I actually kicked off one of the giveaways already. On my video a couple days ago, so you can actually already go and enter the giveaway for the system I am giving away, which is a really nice build with a 5900X and an RTX 3080 and an Asus. It's the Asus TUF RTX 3080 and Asus TUF Gaming X570 Pro motherboard and a Fractal Mesh Phi 2 case, and a Fractal Ion power supply, and the Fractal 360 millimeter AIO, the Celsius Plus S36. It's a really nice looking build, very powerful build, and you could win it if you're in the USA.
What CPU and GPU did you say?
5900X,
Ooh.
the one of those difficult to find chips
Oh
right
yeah.
now, and an RTX 3080, the Asus TUF RTX 3080.
I'm actually
Yeah,
putting together. I did put together a system to give away yesterday. Actually, um, I didn't give it away yesterday. I built it yesterday, but it's going to be given away during the stream on
built two.
Saturday.
Yes.
And yeah, that has pretty comparable specs. Your CPU is definitely a bit faster than mine, but it's still a very hard to find CPU right now. And the GPU will definitely match yours. I'm keeping it a little low key because I sort of like that's how I filmed the video. Was like I just introduced one part
Ah,
at a time as I was going about the build, so you
well,
can
no
kind of like
spoilers.
exactly. But
Yeah,
it is a roughly $2,500 to $3,000 gaming PC. No big deal.
it's
So
gorgeous.
these are going to be given away. Those will be national prizes within the U.S., but we do have a pretty massive cash prize for international viewers as well. We're going to be $1,000 is on the line. So even if you don't win a build, you could still win $1,000 cash, which you can of course spend on anything you like. Please tune in. Please tune in. We're going to try to raise as much money as possible and give away as much awesome hardware as possible. It should be a good time.
We actually have already started to raise money if you're interested.
Oh yeah, your link is active and stuff. The page that you made.
Yeah, because I had to put it on there
Oh,
to
for the
enter
other
my
giveaway,
my
right?
giveaway. So I had to
Nice.
set that up early. I don't know why it won't open here. Anyway, we've already raised like $3,000 or $4,000, so cool. Thanks to
Four
everyone who is
thousand,
our who. It's like between $3,000 and $4,000 is what it was
dude.
at last time I looked at it.
That's
Because
amazing.
people are entering to win the giveaway PC. All you have to do is visit the Awesome Hardware team
Yeah.
page. Also, we have a bunch of people joining our team. I just left it open this year, so
Uh huh.
people are joining the team. People are donating. You don't have to join the team to donate. But yeah,
Right.
we've already raised like between 3 and 4 grand. Yeah,
Nice. That's
and again,
amazing.
you don't
That's
have to
huge.
donate to enter. Um,
Sure.
it's just like
It's
you
just
could.
encouraged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, it's not
Why not?
required.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Maybe I should add that to my video because I'm planning to post my because I did a video on the build as well that I was planning to post like in a day or two just before the charity stream. So maybe
hmm.
I'll use your. We'll be in contact, Paul. I'll get the link from you and maybe I can plug that in the video somehow.
Yeah. Well, because there's teams on Extra Life, so I created a team, and you as yourself can join
Yeah.
the team, and I've joined the team. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
it's
All right. So hopefully we see all you guys there. I'd like to see a big turnout, and you can come at any point during the stream. Um, just bring your game face. We're gonna be playing lots of games, lots and lots of games. Maybe some Cyberpunk, although Cyberpunk's not multiplayer.
it's not. So we'd have to
We could
do it
always
side
like
by
take
side or
turns or
something.
something, or side
We'll
by side.
we'll
Yeah.
figure some stuff out.
Ooh, we could do like competing speed runs, like try to do the same mission at the same time. Three, two, one, go. You know.
Okay.
I don't know. Just spitballing here. I'm just
uh,
excited for the most anticipated game of the year, okay?
I'm excited for that too.
Which
I'm
is
excited to just play some games for a while, and I'm
absolutely.
excited to do the charity stream. It's we we've done longer ones in the past when we've been able to do it in person, and I think we'll go back to that when we can do it in person. This year's
Hmm.
just we gotta dial things back just a little bit, but we're still having the
Yeah.
stream and we're still giving stuff away. So
Yeah.
that's the point, right?
Exactly. And I also just noticed, like, I think I saw it earlier, but I didn't like it just in in one ear out the other type of thing. But I just noticed that you're wearing the Lyle shirt.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I like saw it,
I
but it didn't dawn on me. Like, hey, that's the first time I think I've seen you wearing that shirt.
It's the first
Um,
time I've ever worn it.
okay.
I
Then
don't know when
we're
it
on the
got
same
here.
page.
Yeah, so
No, it looks
I
good. It looks like the
it's not a,
tri-blend one, right? It's kind of like faded or somewhat distressed.
this is just like the navy blue, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but
Looks
oh, it's
looks good.
nice. It's
Never
high
never thought
quality.
I'd say I like seeing Lyle on your chest.
Well, feels right. I'll say that.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about some tech news here. I'm gonna get the first sort of you know obvious article out of the way here, which is the fact that the AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT officially launched today. Um,
Woo!
I also noticed that Paul is not actually in the thumbnail for the stories, so
Oh,
I'm gonna try to add you really quick, Paul. Let's see if I can do this smoothly and seamlessly
I bet you can.
live. All right.
Well, I mean, nothing could go wrong.
No, you
Changing,
didn't see
change.
that.
What?
You saw nothing. Hold on.
I. Oh,
I I made you disappear for like a
I
split second.
flashed.
There, you could just take over the entire stream.
I mean, I will say,
You're gonna be a little smaller in this one.
speaking in X splits favor, it is easy to copy and paste stuff.
It
I do
is. It
appreciate
really
that.
is. All right,
Oh,
you're just a floating head in this
that's
one.
fine. No, that's all I need. That's all I need to be.
Yeah,
There.
exactly.
See?
The body is overrated. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah, 6900 XT is here now, and I just wanted to quickly talk about the launch, the quote-unquote launch, um, and about what this card sort of offers. This is sort of a roundup. This is like a roundup review, a review roundup from The Verge.
Okay.
Um, they make decent articles sometimes. Um, but yeah, so I guess I wanted to sort of touch on the main takeaways from this GPU launch, and really just sort of like boil down, like when you go to like a review, an article, it's got like
Hmm.
100 pages. You usually
Yeah.
just skip to the last one. Closing
Yeah.
thoughts. That's all you need. So these are just the closing thoughts on 6900 XT. The first takeaway is that it is a fast GPU, but it is also an expensive GPU.
Yep.
It's actually the fastest and priciest GPU that AMD's ever made when it comes to a gaming graphics card. So that is um, that is a thing that you should know about this card. It does occasionally beat out the RTX 3090 from NVIDIA if you're just talking about reference versus Founders Edition. But overall, the RTX 3090 is just a little faster. A little
Yep.
faster. Um, for gamers, if you're just going to be using these cards for gaming, the 6900 XT is technically the better value over the RTX 3090, but it kind of gets overshadowed by its own blood. The RX 6800 XT, I've seen this across the board from all like a lot of reviewers. It's a better value, and that's typically what you
Much
see.
better value.
Honestly,
Yeah.
much better value. You're paying $350 less for not too much less performance, to be honest. In my testing, it was like 10%. So
Yeah.
it was really hard to justify spending that extra unless you just had really deep pockets. The RTX 3080, as you might expect, is also a better value than the 6900X T, but it's obviously on the other side of the coin, which brings us to our next takeaway: the RX 6900 XT, along with the other RDNA 2 cards that have come out recently, kind of have some underwhelming ray tracing performance, and they lack DLSS, so that doesn't help either, and that's potentially a big shortcoming for a lot of gamers who are interested in turning RTX on or really being invested in the eye candy of games, turning up that graphical fidelity. And with DLSS, you can even do so while increasing your performance. So it's
Yeah,
tough, you know.
there's
Yeah,
more people upgrading to like 4K monitors. You're seeing those more
right.
frequently, and people, you can game on a 4K monitor at 1080 or 1440 or whatever, but people tend to want to use a native resolution, and DLSS is really effective for that.
Yeah,
AMD is working on like some like kind of a competitive or a DLSS equivalent,
yeah.
but I don't think that's
They're
supposed to
two
start
years
rolling out
they're 2 years
until,
behind.
yeah, I think like beginning of 2021 is when that's expected, probably.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that when it rolls out.
Mhm.
Um, But yeah, it's. I was like, I would agree the $1,000 price makes it a very like not competitively priced card.
It's
It's
very
kind of
niche.
a
Makes it really niche.
yeah, and it doesn't have the quite as much VRAM as the 3090, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes the 3090 more appealing for people who are going to use it for production stuff.
And
So
we're getting rated by Jerry right now.
Jerry
Thank you, Barnacles fans. Thank you,
Barnac
Jerry.
Barnac Barnacles,
What's up, guys?
what's up, Jerry?
Welcome
I love me
to
a
the stream.
Jerry. Jerry's awesome.
Jerry is a
He's
one of a kind human being,
he's
and I mean that
I
in a good way.
I remember the time I followed Jerry around at PAX Prime,
Yeah.
PAX in Seattle. Yeah, and
Oh
he
yeah.
he was
Mm-hmm.
he was going around with his stormtrooper armor on and stuff.
Nice.
It was so much fun. He went and talked in front of people,
He
and
talked
he
in
was
front of people.
yeah, there they have panels there, and he went
Oh
up and
yeah,
he was
panels. Nice.
he kind I don't know if he was one of the presenters or if he was just kind of invited there to, but yeah, he was talking about 3D printing and stuff like that, and
Oh yeah.
he's so passionate and enthusiastic about that stuff that he talks about. So Jerry,
You
we
can't
love you.
help it. Yeah, we
Welcome
love you, dude.
welcome Barnacles.
Jerry has
Welcome
one of those
viewers.
infectious personalities that you can't help but feel good vibes anytime he's around. You're like, okay,
Mm.
everything's fine. I'm in a good mood now.
He
So
was a
thanks,
presenter.
man.
Yes, his copies is falling off too. That's in one of my vlogs from I don't know many years back. Whenever that happened.
Nice.
Um,
Good
yeah, that was
memories.
fun.
I guess coming back, circling back to the 6900 XT though,
A little distracted.
I guess it doesn't really matter anyway. Not anything we just said because you can't buy any of these cards right now.
Yeah, it all
Or
seems so
super
futile. The
super low.
reviewing and everything. It's
Yeah,
like, well,
it does.
I guess we're making these reviews for people in months from now, theoretically, when like stock has become to a point where you can just buy stuff at retail
Right.
price, assuming
Yeah.
that happens at some point, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
We'll talk more
so
about
yeah,
that later too.
oh,
Um,
that's good.
future of graphics card availability and pricing. Ah, all right. So 6900 XT. It feels like you died as quickly as you came alive. I don't know when we're gonna be able to actually get you in the hands of real gamers. But again, like I said, more on that soon.
A-
Next up, yeah,
AMD AMD made a graphics card that slots in between NVIDIA's top two graphics cards in their stack. Price aside, availability aside, all that stuff.
yeah,
I think you can if you just want to pull a gem or yeah, or if you want to look at a silver lining and however you want to describe it.
it's a natural stopgap.
I think that's the thing that should be reiterated some at least.
Mm-hmm.
AMD made a card that's that's a huge leap. For years they have not competed at all
Huge. Yeah,
in that range. So
right.
I'm glad about that. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, with like
Apple.
last generation, they didn't have a card that they could justify selling for over 500 bucks.
Yeah.
And now they've got one that you could make an argument to spend twice that amount on. That's a quantum leap in performance. All things considered, I think they did a pretty good job there. So I feel like the competition is a lot stronger now than it was, last year. So good on them for that. But let's talk about some not so great news, which is our headline of the day.
Well, not so great news for most people.
Not great. Yeah, exactly. This is great news for whoever stole $340,000 worth of RTX 3090s from MSI. This is in China. This is a China job. I don't know what that means, but that's what it was. 40 cargo boxes of RTX 3090s were stolen from MSI's factory in China yesterday morning. That's a lot of moolah.
You got to coordinate to do something like that. You can't.
Yes.
That's not just a crime of opportunity or something.
MSI is suspecting that it was an inside job, which I feel like something like this on this scale usually is. Not always, but usually some insider information is involved. And the reason why they believe that is because they have surveillance cameras all over their factory facilities. They regularly check incoming trucks, outgoing trucks to see and make sure that their cargo is legit. So someone knew the ropes, You know, someone knew the ropes and kind of knew how things operated in order to pull this off so cleanly, seemingly without a trace. And MSI notified the police right after they discovered the horrific news, and they're offering a reward of like a bajillion yen or something. Not yen, some Chinese currency, but that translates
RMB,
to
right?
RMB maybe. Translates to 15,000 US. In case you're curious, 15,000 US dollars for anyone who has information regarding the stolen goods whereabouts.
Hmm. Well,
MSI has
you
yeah,
you just shared some information regarding, I guess not the whereabouts.
not the
Sorry,
whereabouts. Yeah,
I
I
thought
know,
for a second
right.
I was like, why are we telling people about this? We should just be
We should collect
cl
15
claiming
grand
that our
right now.
15K. But all right,
That's very
man,
one word can make such a big difference.
it's always those details.
Yes. It does make sense, you know, if you are a bad actor, not like Nicolas Cage bad actor, but if you are a bad person, immorally or morally unsound,
Nicolas
is-
Cage?
I don't know. Maybe it's just the roles he
I don't
gets.
know.
Maybe
I
he's
feel
an
like I
okay
need to
actor, but
speak up in defense of Nicolas Cage right now. I don't know why he's just
he's he's like Bruce Willis. He's like the exact same person in every movie.
yeah.
Okay, he might do that
He
one
does
role well,
he does
but
lots
he
of
has
film.
zero range.
He's
He
he's
has the
an, okay.
the range of a squirt gun.
I I don't know. I
It doesn't mean he's not entertaining. That's the thing. It doesn't mean you don't absolutely love him in a lot of the shit he's done. Um,
okay.
like, yeah.
I
Anyway,
don't know if bad actors, so is how I
I
describe
couldn't. I
it.
could. That was the first kind of like debatable bad actor I could think of in my
Okay.
mind. There's definitely. I agree. There's far better examples I could have used. Um,
Well, you're right. There's probably
which
lots.
which we don't have to go over just yet. But
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart, sure.
No, sorry.
Now everyone in chat's like gonna contribute like, no, this is a
Okay.
much worse actor. It does make sense. I was gonna say
Face Off
Face
was
Off was
awesome.
legit.
I love
I
Face
know.
Off.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I could have picked like the objectively worst actor, and people in chat would still be like, "You're crazy. He's amazing. She's amazing. What a treasure. How dare you, Adam Sandler."
I could eat a peach for hours.
is that- what is that from?
Face Off.
Is that from Face
Yeah. Face Off is a gold mine of
Off?
like Face Off
Oh
is
man,
so cool. Anyway,
it's a classic. All right.
it is.
So I was gonna say, if you are I should have just said, if you're a shithead, not a bad actor,
Yeah.
and you want to make some money, it actually makes a lot of sense to steal a cargo full of a pack full of RTX 3090s, crate full of 3090s. Right now, the median selling price of an RTX 3090 is $2,250, and the number of cards that are missing from MSI right now comes to around 220 units when you do the math. So that's not enough to upset the market, the GPU market much. But if those 3090s were on their way to your local area, your area and you now have a shortage of
Hmm.
possible 3090s that you could maybe potentially buy. As slim as the chance already was, now it's even slimmer. So that kind of sucks, you know. When people steal, it always fucks people over, of course. But just do the math there. What is that? 220 graphics cards times the median price of 2,250. Whoever stole that load, they could probably profit about $500,000. 495 grand to be exact, if they're all selling them for that listed price, which is definitely qualifies for grand theft. We'll just say that much.
Oh, so
Um,
the value here, 340,000 or whatever, is like the retail price, but you were just
that's retail.
calculating. Okay.
Yeah, because
How,
the median selling price is a lot higher.
yeah. Something like this is there's a risk reward decision involved, and the fact
Yeah.
that the cards are selling for so much on the secondary market right now because there's a shortage of them, and such high demand, that's encouraging for someone who's considering something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
That's a good
we
point.
don't condone stealing
That's a
crates
good
of
point in chat.
RTX 3090s.
Rigor Durasec said those cards are already mining Ethereum. That's honestly a great point. They may not even be interested in selling them or selling all of them. They could be using them for mining. You know, trying to take advantage of the rise in prices, the rise in profits that miners have seen recently. Ethereum is going for like 600 a pop, I think, right now, which is kind of like crazy. So yeah, who knows? Who knows how these stolen cards will be used, if they'll ever be recovered. We just know that it's some pretty bold and shady shit. So there you go.
Well spoken.
And for the record, despite today's thumbnail, Paul and I had no involvement with this crime whatsoever.
No,
We are both innocent. We wipe our hands clean.
I've never even seen an MSI RTX 3090.
I have 2 of them.
You do?
I got them legitimately.
Oh.
I do. MSI and I, we made some deals.
Wow.
I killed some people.
That sounds shady.
I killed a few Asus reps.
Whoa. You're just admitting this on a live stream with
well, you know, I already
millions
got a
of
bunch of
people
hits on
watching.
me anyway. I'll be dead before the show's over. It was nice knowing you guys.
You know, you guys might think that the
killed Lucky.
the world of technology and tech hardware and stuff is boring, and it's just a bunch of logistics stuff and sales and whatever. There's actually this crazy, like, you know, spy
dark
world
underground
underneath it that that nobody really knows about. But I'm writing sort of an expose, if you will, sort of a tell-all. It's going to be made into either a feature-length film, or perhaps HBO might pick it up for like a series. But anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But
don't reveal too much about our world, Paul.
Yeah,
they're not ready for it yet.
It's all you know, secrets and spies, skullduggery.
You guys will be initiated this weekend. That's really what the charity stream is. The charity stream is just a ruse.
Sexy spies.
It's really an initiation.
Always very attractive.
Gathering. All right, let's move on, shall we? Wow, we have back-to-back MSI articles. This one has less to do with MSI and more to do with the hardware that they kind of leaked. They accidentally showed an Intel Rocket Lake S CPU in a CPU Z screenshot during their latest press release, where they were showing off one of their Intel 400 series boards. Hey, look, it supports the new resize bar feature. That's cool. But within that press release, they accidentally published a CPU Z screenshot featuring an 11th gen Rocket Lake S CPU, which isn't supposed to launch until next year, so whoopsie. 8 cores and 16 threads is what it says on the screenshot. What?
Sorry.
What are you?
I just remembered something that I saw, because you're talking about resize bar support, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that's smart access memory for
yeah.
for those of you who haven't been watching the 6000 series graphics cards videos. So they're talking about doing that, you know, on Intel platforms and with NVIDIA, because it's part of the PCI Express spec and capability.
Right.
Did you hear about ASRock made a version of it?
No.
They didn't call it smart access memory. They called it clever access memory.
Clever?
Clever access memory.
You're fucking kidding me.
No,
You're
clever.
Fucking kidding me.
Yes,
they did not.
They did. I hope that's true.
So you know what happened there? They're like, all right, we need another, like, kind of similar word, and like one of the reps just went on thesaurus.com, typed in the word smart, and the first thing to pop up was clever, and they were like,
there's a video cards article on it from 4 days ago. ASRock adds clever access memory to Z490 motherboards.
That's
awesome.
a straight thesaurus.com move right there.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of, you know, what NVIDIA
version.
might call it if they're making because we got SAM already, and I guess clever access memory.
Now you got CAM.
How can they make it ham? I want them to answer back with ham or any. But all right, sorry. I
Or
thought that was funny.
now I'm
Clever
just trying to
accents
think of other horrible synonyms for
for
smart.
smart or whatever. Ing
Oh
ingenious
man,
access memory. Uh,
ingenious. But anyway,
I-
this Rocket Lake S CPU, which is still
yes.
on 14 nanometer by the way, so it's not like insanely exciting, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still new hardware. New hardware.
It's PCIe 4.0. I mean, that's gonna.
It is 4.0. That's something new. Um, the turbo clock should be 5 gigahertz since your max multiplier is 50, but in the screenshot that they showed, it was actually a little bit lower than that. It was like 4.3 gigahertz boost. TDP of 125 watts, and that was pretty much most of the information that they confirmed there. This is the first confirmation that Rocket Lake CPUs will work on 400 series motherboards. We didn't really have an official statement from Intel up until now that you'd be able to drop in one of these Rocket Lake S CPUs into like a Z490 motherboard, for example.
Yes.
But from one of these leaked screenshots, you can clearly see that the board that they were using for this demonstration was a Meg Z490 godlike motherboard.
LGA 1200.
AO. That's right. Engineering sample. The screenshot also confirmed it was an engineering sample that supports AVX 512F and SHA instructions, something that 10th gen Comet Lake S chips were not able to support.
Hmm.
So that's also new, along with PCI Gen 4. Um, I don't know.
Cool.
Maybe is anyone excited for Rocket Lake S?
I mean,
Maybe you can actually buy it.
yeah,
People might just be stoked that there's new hardware out that you can buy.
yeah,
Which they shouldn't have too much issue. Oh, they might actually have issue with it if no one else can buy. Like, if you can't buy any new Ryzen CPUs, if you can't buy any Zen 3 chips, then there might be a much bigger demand for these new 14 nanometer chips from Intel that they may not be able to meet supply on. They've had issues with other 14 nanometer launches in the
yeah.
past, not even too long
Even
ago.
even over the past, I don't know, 1+ year since the Zen 2 stuff came out, and Intel, like in our circles, I feel like Intel has been recommended less and less for, I think, fairly good reasons.
Yeah,
But Intel CPUs have still been like in limited supply everywhere, so they're still people are
yeah,
still buying them, people are still using them, and I think this is going to a big factor here is just going to be how it stacks up against 5000 series, and like you said,
yeah,
continued availability of Ryzen 5000 series, um, because people who wanted to buy Ryzen 5000 series in December and can't, and so like, all right, I'm going to wait. And then if they're still just really hard to find come January, February, and getting towards, I think it's expected in March, right, when Rocket
hmm
Lake S is
I think
going to
something
actually
like that.
launch. Um,
Q1 for sure. Yeah.
yeah, so it's I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be interest in it, and if you got the PCI Express Gen 4, and if you have comparable, or even if they somehow leapfrog back and take back that peak gaming performance crown, then um yeah, that
Do you think
might
they
be.
will?
I don't know. I wouldn't have told you 3 years ago that I still expected Intel to be coming out with 14 nanometer CPUs, but I
Yeah.
mean, they have continued to improve them to some degree uh, over time, and so yeah. Well, I would try to even I don't want to just say like it's 14 nanometer, it's crap. I would
Sure.
still try to approach it with an open mind and see what the performance is, and give it a good run. See
Yeah.
see what they've been working on that they had to push back yet
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Although if anyone from Intel is watching, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you for not launching anything in 2020. Oh, how horrible would that have been if Intel was also
Uh,
trying to launch crap in the past
oh my
past
God.
couple months? Sweet.
I hit my limit
Mother.
like 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
agree with that statement.
another years without all the external stresses and stuff like that. I think I could have rolled with it okay, but it's
It was weird. It was like a lot of the stress that us reviewers usually feel from all the events, like traveling and stuff, was replaced by back to back to back to back launches,
Mm.
huge launches for months on end. That I feel
I,
like
I don't even feel like I did a good job on the. I mean, no, I did. I think I did a passable job. That's all
me
I was
too.
really aiming for.
I I was
Like
shooting way aiming way low.
I was like, I need to figure out what I can do in the time that I have.
Yeah.
'Cause the time that I have is it's limited. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the videos. Yeah.
Yeah, mine too. I know it hasn't been like super detailed or, you know, extremely high quality. I wish I had more time to devote to that sort of thing too. Um,
And I did do the cream pie video. That's true.
Cream
Valkyrie.
pie video,
Thank you.
yeah, you know.
That one's sort of a yet another little diamond in the rough there amidst all the past videos.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
All
so
right, let's move on
Rocket Lake
to
S. Cool.
the next story because Rocket Lake S is dumb. It's not dumb. I hope it's good. I hope it's better than I expect it to be.
Mm.
But we should talk about the next thing that's going on, which is also not great news. It's from WCCF Tech, and apparently the new GPUs that are impossible to find are going to be even more impossible to find because there's another supply constraint this time: GDDR6 memory. There's been a shortage apparently. This has been a report from Cowcotland via videocards.com that claims both AMD and NVIDIA have been hit by GDDR6 supply constraints. And a quote taken from that report directly says it will take weeks for the situation to return to normal, which means the availability of all models will not improve until February, even by blocking the release of some models, such as the 6900 XT custom models. And that's end quote right there. But what's even crazier is that even once we hit February, when GDDR6 memory supply returns, Paul, where are
What?
you going?
I'm still here.
No, you're not. Your hand is here. I can't host this whole show alone with just me and your hand.
I'm sorry. I'm back.
Your
That's
hand your hand alone has never done me much good.
I want to clean my glasses. They're
Okay.
bothering me.
You can clean your glasses. I was just making sure you weren't
Okay.
dissolving into nothingness.
No, sorry.
Get back to the future
I'm
photo.
still right here. I'm still with you.
So
That's...
even when GDDR6 memory supply returns in February, it could still take several more months for GPU pricing to drop towards MSRP because the supply chain needs to catch up with demand for a surplus to be established. Even if we have all the GDDR6 memory in the world, if there's still a shortage of GPUs because of other supply constraints, whether it be I don't know, the PCB or the GPUs themselves, the dies, or TSMC is just completely overwhelmed and overbooked and under over capacity like they are, then
Versus
pricing
like Sony and Microsoft are bribing them to get more chips for the PlayStations and the
right.
Xboxes.
Yeah, I
It's
mean that was one of the reasons why NVIDIA called upon Samsung to help them develop a lot of the GPUs, but that doesn't seem to have helped them as much as they thought it would, because there's still a massive shortage. So we could be looking at late 2021, mid to late 2021, until we start to see availability and pricing of these new AMD and NVIDIA GPUs start to feel and look a bit more normal, which isn't the greatest news. I I can't remember a GPU launch like this in history, at least since I've been doing this, where you have to wait almost a year potentially to actually buy a graphics card for the stated MSRP. It's just insane to me. It's crazy. Um,
uh GTX 1070.
1070, really? Was it? Was it this
Was it
bad?
the 1070 or the 970? There's one of them that was supposed to be like 370 bucks or something, and it just never was. It was always like 100 bucks more than that for a really long time.
Huh.
I mean, there's definitely have been times where, there's a launch, they sell out, and they're gone for a while, and it's a while before
Right, right.
they're widely
Yeah.
available.
I mean,
Um,
even if these cards right now were only $100 more than MSRP, I'm sure there'd be no complaints.
yeah, the thing that makes me think this is that we're looking at sort of a different scenario right now. I mean, other than obviously the COVID and all that stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that going through like Black Friday weekend and stuff like that, like there were just no graphics cards. It wasn't just the new
Yeah.
ones. It was like everything was
Yeah.
gone. You couldn't
Right.
look at Newegg's graphics cards, Black Friday or
Section.
Monday deals page. They're just all sold out, and
Yeah.
there's maybe like one that's there, but it's like not even a good deal, like something like that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like
really
you couldn't.
crappy.
I
And
couldn't. I tried to do a parts list video a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I can't even. I can't even do one that I like would recommend. Like all these
yeah,
prices and availability are horrible for graphics cards. I couldn't even find like 1660s or 1660 Ti's or supers for a reasonable price on any website. It's just it's crazy. I don't think I've
mm,
ever seen the market like this before, and it looks like it's going to continue to be this way, according to this article, till maybe mid next year.
that sucks
So
because the story for other types of RAM and like NAND is different. Like
yeah, right.
that's for that the prices are supposed to be going down. Um, which I was also kind of looking for with the Black Friday deals. I was hoping for like maybe a 2 terabyte SSD to get
Mm,
down towards like the $150 or something. That didn't really happen. Um,
yeah, I didn't see any of that either. The
got
best I
down to
got was I got like a.
170, 180.
Did you get any SSDs? I
I
feel like
did
I
buy
always get SSDs.
I did buy a couple. I got a couple more 2 terabyte SSDs just because they're so useful.
How
To
much did you get them for? Like 180?
180 for the Crucial MX500.
Mm.
There were SanDisk Ultra. There was a SanDisk model that was
Oh yeah, those are
one
always on sale.
was 170, and
That's
that would have
pretty
been a
good.
good one. But yeah, the MX500, it's good.
I
Good
found
SSD.
uh I found an Intel um a 660p NVMe
Hmm,
M.2 drive. Well, PCIe Gen 3, but still, really good speeds for that protocol, and it was like $85 I think for a 1 terabyte.
nice.
And I was like, I'll buy two of those. Actually, one of those is going into the giveaway build that I built yesterday, so
Oh, cool.
got
Nice.
you guys covered there.
Ooh, spoiler.
I know. Oh yeah,
Revealing
shoot. It's
revealing
the
this.
SSD. Yeah, the SSD's. I'll toss you a bone there.
All right.
All right, let's continue on here. We've got a couple more articles to go over. The next one is, and I don't know. I didn't see many compelling stories, so I was like, I'll just throw this one in because everyone else is talking about it.
Mm,
Apple's crazy expensive headphones that they've
mm-hmm.
announced. Um, I'm hoping that some audiophiles in chat can weigh in on this article because I'm definitely not an audiophile, but I know that it's a very passionate community, very knowledgeable community, and when something like this happens, I'm just like, I wonder what all the diehard audiophiles are thinking when they see something like this. So this is a $549 pair of headphones. It's Apple's first ever over-ear headphone design that's under the AirPods product line. It's wireless, so I think all audiophiles inside are cringing a little bit. Like $500 for wireless? Oh God,
Mm,
the quality is not going to compare at all to straight up analog signals jacking in. It's powered by Apple's H1 chips with 10 audio cores. It shares a lot of the same features with the AirPods Pro. If you guys are familiar with those, they're just like the little one, the buds, like the earbuds, which I actually own. And they have active noise cancellation, transparency mode, spatial audio, and adaptive EQ. 40 millimeter dynamic drivers. There was no ohm rating. I was looking for the ohm rating in the article. They didn't list
if
what the
it's not listed, it
ohmage
means
was.
it's
It
whatever
means it's
it's like
horrible.
30. No, it means it's
Probably
35
30,
or I
30
think
or 60 maybe. Um,
that's kind of the standard.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. For 500, yeah, we'll see. Apple promises very little distortion and high quality sound. It's very subjective. We'll see about that. When paired with an iPhone or iPad, Yeah, of course they're integrating it with their other devices. That's typical Apple. Apple uses the gyroscope and accelerometer in both devices to compare motion data and deliver sound in 5.1, 7.1, and Dolby Atmos. So, if
Motion
you
data? What?
yeah, I wasn't sure what they meant by that if that means like
So
video.
if you're running fast, then the headphones with the drivers inches from your eardrums
We'll just bump up to 7.1.
are gonna change somehow in order to compensate for that movement.
Yep, that was the most explanation they went into it.
eh,
And I'm not sure why, like how the gyroscope and accelerometer relates to the sound, you know, the number of channels. What
yeah,
what are those two? How are those two correlated? I'm
I
not
don't.
exactly sure. I was hoping that I would say that line and you'd be like, and you'd be able to extrapolate on it and explain it to me, and my
No,
small
that just
brain.
sounds like BS. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I, I don't know how connecting those pieces of technology together
They're like, if we throw in,
is helping them create a better audio experience.
could just be marketing fluff. If we throw in these large words most customers won't understand, they'll just think that, oh, these headphones work best with an iPhone product or an
Well,
iPhone or an iPad.
audiophile stuff is so often that type of the I don't know. I feel like there's a whole marketing for people who like really fine wine or like super high end audio and
Gaming PCs.
probably gaming PCs as well. But I mean, with gaming PCs, I feel like look, it's like you can test it. You can test it and be like, look, this tested and this was the result, and then this tested and this was the result. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
with something like wine or listening to like really nice headphones or something like that. And don't get me wrong, I like a nice pair of headphones and high quality audio, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's a certain at a certain point, they're describing the tonality and depth and all this stuff, or like it's like that same
Mm-hmm.
way of describing this wine, and it's like I feel like people go into it and they're sitting there and it's like, oh, I should be discerning these nuances that are being described to me if
Right.
if I was a cultured person or if I was or if I was capable of that, right, I should be. So they just go along with it and then they spend $1,000 on a pair of or $550. No, anyway,
The no, I know what you're saying. I think the
yeah,
difference is that like with a gaming PC or any kind of like hardware, you can objectively test it with using the computer itself. And with things like wine or audio, audio fidelity, you have to use the human is the one testing it,
yeah,
right? And so
it's a
I think it
sensory.
so it
Yeah,
becomes, but I feel like so it's more subjective in that sense. But is it that much more subjective? Like if you took like 100, if you pulled 100 sommeliers and you had them test like 5 different wines, you could plot how they ranked each wine, and that would technically be an objective. Like this wine is, by and large, empirical evidence states, and the sampling size states that this wine is objectively better than this wine. It's just when you're not actually equipped to test it yourself as just a human being without any sort of tool or instrument, the value of it is more. The value of that thing becomes much more intangible in a weird way.
I always appreciate intangible value though.
Hmm.
That's why we are members of wine club.
Are you?
No, I don't know if it's called a club. We
They
drink
are called
wine. We
clubs,
like
wine
wine.
clubs.
We
I've
do
been
like
meaning to
wine.
join a wine club. I want to get like get the inside scoop. You know, start
Oh,
hanging out with winos.
we
Just
are. I'm sorry. I've just been informed we are members of a wine club. I'm sorry. I'm I've been sitting here talking trash on like people who like fancy
You're,
wine and we totally get fancy wine and stuff. I mean, it's really good
uh,
though. You can
yeah.
taste the ochre and the it's got a
Oh, good.
it's got a really
Mm.
like when you drink the wine and it's got a really digestible backstory. You
Yes,
can just
right.
feel the tannins permeating the uncture of your phlebotomist. Sorry. Okay, I'm getting.
I'm getting notes of tobacco and ash. It's like what is sounds like domestic abuse. What? Sounds like the worst thing to put in your mouth.
Did you drop your wine in a pile of shit? Um,
We're just not sophisticated enough cats to. We're not woke enough.
it's true.
Our wine game's not on point.
But you gotta fake it. You gotta fake it till you make it, right?
Exactly.
You know?
We do a pretty
Okay.
good job of that. But all right, there's Apple's crazy expensive headphones. We'll see how they stack up once they ship on December 15th. But for now, we've got a few Cyberpunk stories to cover. This
Cyberpunk.
is the most highly anticipated game launch of the year, so I figured it
Cyberpunk.
was worth talking about what's all been going on in the last couple days as we gear up for the big launch in just 2 days. It launches on the 10th, pretty huge. And the reviews have already started coming in through various press sources and journalists and stuff, and it's quite a mixed bag. I mean, if you look on what is it, Metacritic, it's got like a 91 out of 100, which is really good. But when you actually read individual reviews from various huge publishers, you see that there's it's definitely doesn't come without its pitfalls. And it's not a perfect game, and how could it really live up to the hype? I mean, hype is always so impossible to meet or to match. And so we're going to talk about briefly, I just want to sort of cover what's been discussed in a lot of these reviews so far in terms of what the game gets right and where it kind of falls short.
Okay.
So the first thing, we can go over the pros first. I think the biggest pro that I've seen in a lot of the reviews that I've already read or snippets
Keanu
of
Reeves.
reviews. Keanu Reeves. Oh, okay, we'll start with that one since you called it out first, Paul. Keanu Reeves is apparently like a big highlight of this game, and it goes to show how much a well done performance can help a work, whether it's a movie or because I've seen movies with like horrible scripts, but like some of the acting or one actor was just like super solid. I'm like, oh my god, he could turn shit into gold, quite literally sometimes, and that's sort of what I'm getting here with Keanu Reeves. His performance is amazing, apparently.
Wait.
He's fully committed.
Hold. Well, all right. I only watched one video review of Cyberpunk so far, and I think it was the IGN one,
Hmm.
which was on the YouTube trending.
Uh
That
huh.
that review actually said that the performance of the cast is amazing overall. Keanu Reeves is actually kind of a dull point because
Really?
his performance seemed a little stiff or something like that was what they
Really?
said. Anyway,
Interesting.
I'm just providing a counter to that. Obviously, it's still Keanu Reeves and he's still awesome.
Sure. Maybe I should have used him for my bad actor example instead of Nicolas Cage. Then maybe I'll
Keanu
transfer that
Reeves.
over.
Keanu Reeves, I feel like there's been an arc for me with my Keanu Reeves like
Yeah.
experience.
Right.
Do you want a tangent right now, or should I just stop myself?
Tangent away.
Okay, I like Keanu Reeves. I've always liked Keanu Reeves because I've always been a fan of Bill and Ted, and ever since
Excellent.
the original two movies and everything. If that's not obvious from
Of course.
my video intro, but I also didn't think Keanu Reeves was an amazing actor or anything. Like
Sure.
some of the movies he was in, like Matrix originally. I loved the Matrix, but I was always like, Keanu Reeves performance. I don't know. He always just seemed a little stiff, I guess, to
Yeah.
me.
Right. A little dull.
But over the years, as I've learned more about Keanu Reeves, like as a person and stuff like that, and just sort of the
Mm-hmm.
way he goes about, being who he is,
Yeah.
I feel like my opinion of him has changed. And like what was it? There was one of the movies he was on. He like bought a bunch of. He did something really cool for the cast. It's slipping my mind right now. Anyway, but Keanu Reeves, good guy. Apparently, good guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like
Point
you
Break.
know
Yes, Point Break is one of those Keanu Reeves
this
movies.
is a good comment. Jake
Uh,
Heavers said Keanu Reeves is a wooden actor, but he knows exactly how to. Oh shit! Chat's going crazy. How good and how famous he is, and he stays completely in his lane and doesn't try to pump himself up. I think that's a
I
good point.
appreciate that.
Like, he may not be the Oscar-winning actor that, one would hope to be if they were in that profession, but you can't deny that he just seems like a super cool guy, really down to earth, very humble, and just the type of guy that you'd want to hang out with and have a beer with.
Yeah.
And for that, even though you might not vote him as best actor in the world, you still have utmost respect for him. He's a good dude. He seems that way anyway. But anyway, that's one of the pros. So we'll kick it off with that. The other pro of Cyberpunk is Night City, is the environment. It's the landscape. According to a lot of reviews, it is insanely immersive. It's incredibly immersive in every way possible, and it really competes strongly with what Rockstar's done in terms of open world environments. When you look at Los Santos in GTA 5 or the American West in Red Dead Redemption 2, these are all very visceral, kind of memorable places that kind of transport you. It's what video games are ultimately designed to do, and a lot of people are saying that Night City does it pretty effing well. And especially if you're cranking up the settings, which we'll talk about performance more later. But the actual environment of the game seems to be, by and large, the biggest pro of the game. That almost like literally everyone is in agreement of. I haven't seen one bad thing about the city landscape or anything. It's just kind of it's mesmerizing from what I've heard. So I'm looking forward to exploring it. It seems pretty endless and eye-opening. Not as eye-opening as little Hana, though.
Hana decided to say hello.
How adorbs. Hi, Hana.
She ran over here, and there was nothing we could do to stop her, and now she's here. She just wanted to deliver a message to everyone and say...
She's a little gremlin.
Can you say wow?
Wow.
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 Wow. That's Hana's review of Cyberpunk 2077.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
Nailed it. Wow out of 10.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
Sorry. Here she goes.
Ugh.
She said bye.
Everything in the world looks ugly compared to your daughter.
Oh, my daughter.
All right. So the other pro from Cyberpunk 2077 are the side quests and the little details, little nuances of the game in terms of a role-playing style, a role-playing genre. If you, for example, the one example that I've actually heard in multiple reviews is that if you go back to a place, if you return to a place where you once did a side quest or a little side mission, then your character, which I think the main character in the game is V, his name is V, he might notice certain things that have changed about that environment. Or you might be able to talk to an NPC that tells you or explains, how things have changed since you were last there, which kind of just contributes to the storytelling aspect of the narrative that is the game. So it's things like that become more immersive, become more realistic, and really place you in the game, where you can actually draw upon things in the past that you've done in this place and how you've affected history, in a sense, which is pretty cool. Of course, there are some cons to the game. The first one that's pretty obvious are all the bugs. Lots of glitches. There's been countless reports of characters just wigging out. Objects in the game will get stuck, or if there's a really important object that someone is showcasing or holding in a cutscene, it won't load. So or the lines will be wrong, like the dialogue will be wrong. One editor reported getting a phone call in the middle of a cutscene, so there were two opposing dialogues happening at the same time, overlapping each other. So there's all kinds of messy bugs. It's a messy game right now. But you also have to keep in mind that a lot of these reviewers and editors who were reviewing the game, when they had the game and they were reviewing it, they didn't have the optimized drivers for it from AMD or NVIDIA. They didn't have the Game 1 patch that's supposed to be 50 gigabytes on day one. And so everyone's trying to be hopeful that these things are going to iron out a lot of these issues. You can't be sure how well it's going to do that, but this is really worst case scenario. This is the worst the game's going to look, the worst it's going to be, and CD Projekt Red is known. They're not known for having the most polished game launches. The Witcher 3 had its fair share of bugs, and issues when it first launched, and it took a few weeks to iron out, but it eventually got there. So this is just part of the. It comes with the territory, I think, with PC gaming, right? It's just something that we accept or we reject. I, for one, accept it. I can be patient and wait for a more polished launch, maybe a few weeks after the game's launched, if I can still receive all the benefits that gaming on PC has to offer. I never forget. Never forget why we do what we do, why we play, why we choose the platform we choose. So there's also some other issues with the game in terms of actual gameplay. Like the combat is solid. The gunplay feels really good from what I've heard, but the stealth parameters, the stealth options are pretty weak. So you don't get to sneak around as craftily maybe as you would in a game like Watchdog Legion, where they have more sophisticated ways to hack into a corporate lobby or a gang member's warehouse and stuff like that. It all seems kind of shoved to the side with this game. So if you like stealthy, and you like to sneak around, it's not represented extremely well, from what I've heard. And then there's also the last thing here that is interesting is bad trans representation. So I think it's talking about like transsexuals, perhaps, or transgender. Transgender. It's talking about transgender. So poor transgender representation. I don't know much about this, and it didn't really explain all too detailed in the article. But apparently there was a controversial in-game advertisement for a energy drink that was depicted with like some like non-binary character that was very sexualized, and people were going apeshit over it apparently, saying it was like fetishizing or it was fetishistic, exploitative were a lot of words that these are words that people were using. And there was a response from CD Projekt Red saying, well, it's meant to be exploitative. That's we're trying to make a statement about how society in this game in Night City, as well as paralleling our own, of course, is very hypersexualized, and capitalism feeds off of exploiting our bodies a lot of the time. Sex sells is a pretty common phrase that we're all aware of, and so they're trying to make a social commentary on that with this ad, but a lot of people are misinterpreting it as you're crossing the line, whatever. You're advertising it as opposed to making a satirical commentary about it. So I can't really comment too much more further than that. I'd have to do more research, but I would say that the pros versus the cons, I would say that the game is definitely worth checking out. At least for me, I'm still excited to try it out, to see what Night City is like. I want to see what all the hype about Keanu Reeves is like. I can deal with the bugs, knowing that they're hopefully temporary and that they'll improve over time. I've never been a stealthy player myself, but we'll see how that fares out. So yeah, there's just some pros and cons about the game so far, and I'm sure there's a lot more, than just the few that I've rattled off here. So the other thing that a lot of reviewers were saying is that they feel like their review is half baked in a lot of ways because the game is so expansive and they had such limited time to review it. They were just plowing through the main quests, and they weren't actually indulging in all the side quests and the side missions, which really contribute to the game as a whole, right? All those side missions. When you're talking about an RPG, so there's a lot more to be said about the game than just a number on a Metacritic website, right? Type of thing. So I don't know. I'll be trying to stream it when it launches on the 10th and stuff, and we'll have some fun with it and see how it goes. But any comments on that, Paul?
On what? The game? Playing the
The
game?
game, on the game, how you feel about the game? Anything you've read about the game that you have feelings about?
It seemed like the bugs were often a factor of the fact that there's a lot of like you said, there's a ton of side missions and stuff like that to do. Just sort of world exploring and stuff, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's the potential for that, but as you do those side quests and stuff, that affects the main storyline and that can change things. So when you have
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of overlapping plot lines and things like that that can affect stuff later on or affect how certain missions go and stuff, I think that introduces the possibility for bugs if yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that seems really like you said, something that is hopefully ironed out in the next few weeks or months. And I also heard that there's like you can the main if you plow through the main quest lines, it's only takes about 20 hours to
Mm-hmm.
like beat the game. But
Yeah.
if you go and start doing side quests, it can make the ending of the game completely different. So
Mm.
there's
Nice.
I think the one I was watching said there's at least 5 or 6 different, like pretty wildly different endings that they got to. So
Wow.
that
That's
seems
super
cool too.
cool.
Also, the potential for replay and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right. That's definitely appealing in I think for this kind of genre of
yeah,
game. You know,
yeah,
people want to see variants. They don't want to just be on rails. You're role playing. You get to choose your own adventure. Um, so yeah, we can start talking about the actual performance of the game as well here.
you start on that. I'm gonna grab a beer.
All right, you grab a beer while Paul's grabbing a beer. We're gonna dive into this article from WCCF Tech about the actual performance. How well you'll be able to run this game, and it's super demanding. People are saying that it's the new crisis, the crisis of the decade. Tom's Hardware. Or, I'm sorry, this is an article from WCCF Tech, but Tom's Hardware did a lot of the actual benchmarking, if not all of it actually. Um, so I'm just gonna break it down for you. We'll just jump straight into it here. They tested which GPU you would need at minimum to run at 60 FPS smoothly on average, given various parameters including resolution, quality, whether you have ray tracing on or off, whether you have DLSS on or off, and what setting of DLSS you have, right? Because there's various tiers to that as well. So we'll start off from the bare minimum. At bare minimum, which is, this is going to be a topic of interest for a lot of people. Like, oh, I don't have like a super high-end rig. Can I still run this game? If you're just doing bare minimum demands, you're on medium quality. You're not doing ray tracing. The GPUs you need to average 60 FPS or higher at 1080p, you're looking at a GTX 1070 or an RX 5600 XT. All right, so you're already in that sort of mid to high end range. Just at 1080p with like the least amount of eye candy. Medium settings, no ray tracing, GTX 1070 or RX 5600 XT. If you jump over to 1440p, you're doing 2.5K, then you're going to want at least an RTX 2060 Super or an RX 5700 XT, which makes sense. Maybe got to spend another 100, 200, maybe 100 to 200 bucks on your graphics card. And then if you scale up to 4K, again at medium, this is at medium, guys, at medium settings with no ray tracing, you will need an RTX 3080 or an RX 6800 XT just to average 60 frames per second. Pretty insane. If you step up to ultra quality, you want to go ultra, as we all do. We all strive for ultra. Live in an ultra world. But we're still disabling all forms of ray tracing here. So it's kind of like a middle ground area. At 1080p, you're going to want an RTX 2060 Super or an RX 5700 XT if you want to get that smooth 60 FPS frame rate. If you go to 1440p, you're going to need an RTX 3070 or an RX 6800. And if you dare go to 4K at ultra settings in this game, you will need a RTX 3070 or RX 6800 just to hit over 30 frames per second on average. And if you look at this graph, even a $1,500 RTX 3090 averages 39.6 frames per second in this game. It doesn't even clear the 40 FPS mark. So that's pretty crazy. And then the final test, which is ultra quality. This is balls to the wall, right? This is A+ settings, ultra quality with ray tracing and they even tested it at native resolution and with DLSS, and even beyond that, DLSS in quality mode versus balanced mode. And so if you want to hit 60 FPS and above, pretty much with these settings, you can only do it at 1080p. All right. So whether if you're talking about using DLSS, then you want an RTX 3070 and above. If you're talking about native resolution, no DLSS, then RTX 3090. And I like how it says 3090 and above. What's
I,
above a 3090 right now?
I should
Um,
interrupt you, Kyle.
yes.
I was gonna let you go on for quite a while here because I see you got all these notes and everything.
Hmm.
Um, you should switch scenes and then pull up the tweet that I linked at the end of the story.
Oh, is this from the Gamers Nexus one?
Yes.
Okay. Cyberpunk currently has DRM that is only active for reviewers and is known to reduce performance. Will not be active on launch day. Therefore, any testing published today will not accurately reflect launch performance. They warned. Okay, got it. Interesting. So this is not indicative of real-world performance, which was true anyway, even without this knowledge, because there's obviously going to be patches,
a big
day
patch,
one
yeah.
updates. It's a 50 gig patch. There's going to be a lot of optimizations that go into this that reviewers from who were testing this game a week ago did not have access to.
Yeah, but
So
this is interesting because it's a specific DRM that they set up just for reviewers.
yeah,
Because some reviewers have had the game and some streamers have had the game, and they're trying to be very. So, it's. I think it's kind of unique just in that they went to that level to create this extra bit of code just
yeah,
for the
layer protection.
pre-launch phase. But
Right.
supposedly it does pretty significantly impact performance. It's
Sure.
not going to be there as of launch day. So so all the numbers and stuff, Kyle, that you were just saying, will kind of need to be revisited to see what
Sure.
sort of an impact it means it has once this DRM is removed. But it is good news for anyone who was looking at these numbers and being like, "Oh my God, I really
Yeah.
wanted to play this game, and I've only got a 1060 or something like that." You don't despair. You might be in better shape than it seems right now.
That's actually tremendously good news
Yeah,
for all gamers out there. So thank you for sharing that, Paul.
you're welcome.
That's a huge piece of information that's very important to consider here. Um,
Sometimes randomly browsing Twitter earlier in the day is useful.
yeah, everyone go follow Gamers Nexus. Everyone
Yeah,
go follow them on Twitter.
and we
They're
love
a
Steve.
treasure trove of information. Yeah, Steve's
Mhm.
the best. All right, we have one more article about this game that I think is just an important PSA here. I don't want any of you guys to fall victim to this, but apparently the game has caused seizures for at least one person so far, at least one reviewer or editor
Oh.
from Game Informer, during a part of a pretty intense scene. So there was an editor at Game Informer who got a seizure while playing the game during a part where the character straps into a virtual headset that projects flashing lights and there's strobing effects and images. The editor wrote that it's actually very similar to how device neurosurgeons induce seizures when they need to trigger one for diagnostic purposes. So this is actually part of the game's brain dance feature that lets characters relive certain experiences once they put on the headset. So it's just all part of the game narrative and stuff. But it actually caused a seizure, a legit seizure with one of the reviewers.
Mm.
And like the number of reviewers compared to the number of just people who will be playing this game, just general consumers, is just astronomically different. That ratio is insane. So if there's already one reviewer who got a seizure from this, um, it's very possible that it could happen to more people, and that will not be very good for anyone. Specifically CD Projekt Red or the people who are actually falling victim to this. So CD Projekt Red did put out a statement. They tweeted and they officially said that they're working on adding a separate warning in the game because there's already one that's present in the EULA. Like when you first launch a game, the EULA pops up and it's got like a million words on it, splash screen for like 5 seconds, and then it goes away. No one ever reads it. You're just trying to get to the game. So it's a very easily missed piece of documentation that CD Projekt Red is going to try amplifying in other ways to just put it on people's radar that, hey, this is an issue. And they're also trying to implement a permanent solution. And I quote, regarding a permanent solution, the dev team is currently exploring that and will be implementing it as soon as possible. End quote. So this could maybe look like something. This could look like being able to skip that part of the game, where it's giving all those strubbing effects. Or maybe you could just choose to disable it entirely once you're at the main menu or within the settings, stuff like that. At any rate, it's good that it's on their radar now and that they're taking care of it, because this could be a seriously damaging issue, or cause a lot of injury to a lot of people. So it's good. It's good that it's being taken care of, and that at least one of the reviewers. I mean, imagine if this reviewer didn't catch it, and then it was just sent out into the ether, and hundreds, maybe hundreds of people were getting seizures from the game before anyone ever caught anything. It'd be a disaster. I just think it's crazy how the editor said how similar it is. Like, it's almost like, I don't know if I'm not going to say CD Projekt Red designed it that way, but how the parallel between the strubbing effects that they have in the game versus the actual technique that neurosurgeons use to induce seizures is scarily similar. So it's just a really, really crazy thing. Yeah, I figured, as small of an article as that was, it was important to note, because I don't want any of you guys getting seizures, and I'd like to put that all on your guys' map. So that's pretty much our show as in terms of articles. We do have some donations to go over, which we do have.
Yay.
Some. Whoa! Why is my Twitch being loud now? Sorry about that.
Which is loud.
My Twitch just started auto playing, and then it wasn't muted, so it was going crazy.
The heck is
All
that?
Right. What? What's what? Fly?
Infringing on my space. Oh, okay.
What's happening?
Oh, but no,
Me?
you got rid of it by the time I reacted to it.
Sorry. You're actually doing it. I'm doing a desktop capture on you, because your pop-up window in Discord isn't picked up for some reason on XSplit. It doesn't recognize this window being open, so I can't tell it to just capture this window specifically. So anything I put over you, like this mouse cursor in your nose, just gets captured and everyone can see it.
Love it.
Get something in your teeth too.
Yeah.
Is this considered probing, Paul?
It feels similar. Okay.
All right. So let's go over some donations here. MB67, $13.37. Thank you, Mike. Speaking of MSI GPUs, I've got a few hundred for sale at a reasonable price. LOL, kidding, of course. Happy holidays, everyone.
Oh goodness.
I almost wish you weren't. I'd buy a few
Mike,
of them for you.
Mike has apparently shipped. So we're gonna have another system to give away courtesy of Mike, which he has shipped to me. And I'll see if I can share it with you guys when it arrives. He apparently gave up his own 3950X to put in the system, because that's just the kind of guy he is.
He's a badass.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike. That's pretty legendary, dude. I can't wait to check out the system. Well, I might not be able to in person, since Paul and I aren't doing it in person this year, but
I'll show you video.
I'm sure I'll see some footage. Paul, give me the scoop.
I can make video.
Yes. Thank you, Mike. Bazinga X. Jay is giving away a 3090. Paul giving away a full system. Looks like someone is not in the holiday spirit. I'm giving away a full-blown system. I'm giving away a $3,000 system. All right? Come on. It's good. It's a good build.
I have another system I'm building tomorrow to give away too.
Two builds. You're gonna amp me up. Well, now at least I'm not the bottom. I'm not the lowest common denominator. I'm not at the bottom of the totem pole. Jay, technically, is only giving away a graphics card.
It's a 3090, right? But yeah,
it's a 3090 that someone with a fucking Core i3 is gonna get.
The system I'm building tomorrow is sponsored by Micro Center, and it's got a.
Oh, you're sponsored. Okay.
I know. It's got a 5800X.
Doesn't count.
It's got a 5800X and another RTX 3080. So we're gonna have a decent amount of options for you guys to potentially win, like some really nice gaming PCs.
Not only am I giving away a $3,000 gaming PC, I'm also giving away an RX 6800 XT Red Devil from Power Color.
That's sexy.
which
It's very
actually
sexy.
tested at the top of our charts in thermals. It was like hovering at like 61, 62 degrees C under
Ooh.
load, 15 minutes. It's an absolutely insane card. So that's going to be given away for me as well. Um, I'm just trying to you know puff myself up and seem more generous than you and Jay. I think it's
That's
working.
okay. We're gonna have lots of stuff to give away, and it's for the children. That's the point.
It is for the
It's for the
children. Gotta love the children.
children.
All right, Adrian Hernandez Garcia. Thank you for your $5 donation to let me know that my mic is low.
Yeah. That's probably like an hour plus ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many complaints about it since then, so I'm guessing we're good. I did move my
There've
mic
been
a little bit
regular
closer.
there've been regular complaints the entire show, but
Oh, well, I haven't seen them recently,
those
but
people just don't have like really high quality headphones though. If you're like an audiophile and you really know like
mm,
how the sound should sound when you
right.
hear the sound
You should
and the
probably invest in
audio,
those. Probably invest in those Apple headphones.
yeah.
If you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you got to get the best audio files to play the audio.
Get that
So,
flack
yeah,
on fleek.
exactly.
Um, yeah.
Thanks, Adrian.
Ben Mad Scientist. If I want to spend 250 to $300 on a graphics card right now, what should I get?
No.
RTX 1050 Ti.
No.
What can
Just
you buy? That's the question. It really is. What can you even buy
I
for that
haven't looked.
amount that isn't absolutely ludicrous?
All right, so
Nothing.
if you were
Very few.
asking me a month ago, 250 to $300, I'd say spend $300 on an RTX 2060. If you could find one, like the 2060 KO, right, is supposed to be $300.
But you can't find that. I looked. Like
RTX 2060.
I don't even know if they're making them anymore. They're just gone. Well, you look that up. Aaron Baker, been loving the Computer Chronicles videos lately. Keep up the good work. Perhaps reach out to Stuart to do a video with you. Cheers. Yeah, man. I'm glad you've been liking the Computer Chronicles. I've been enjoying shooting them. They're really fun. They're really fun to make. It's always a fun trip just to look back at the past and see where this community came from. Yeah, it'd be really fun to do a collab with Stuart. I wonder if he'd be down. I know he has a Twitter account. Maybe I'll hit him up there one day.
You should do that.
What'd you find on online, Paul?
All right, if I go sold by Newegg, looking at RTX 2060s, they're out of stock. Everything's out of stock.
Everything's gone, man.
There's just
Are you on Amazon? Doesn't matter.
this is Newegg.
It's
Yeah,
the same deal on Amazon.
There's just nothing.
I was looking everywhere. I looked on like Micro Center has some stuff here and there, but it's always like reasonable
There's
price, but you have
the
to like walk into a store.
the marketplace sellers have 2060s listed for 530, $590. Like this is
It's fucking
absolutely
bullshit.
ridiculous.
So bullshit.
So yeah, don't buy right now. Don't pay these ridiculous overpriced prices. That's like you just have to wait. Sorry.
Hey, no. I found a good deal here. Right here.
Oh, what's that?
GTX 1660 Ti, only $799.
Nice. There we go.
Score, bruh.
There's your go-to right now.
Bruh, you're about to get
Hey,
that 3080?
the important
Nah.
part here is
Nah.
you've got an add to cart button. You've got the add to cart button. It's in stock.
And I mean, these ones look like a steal in comparison. This one's only $598, and this one, I mean, this is sadly the lowest one on the front page is $435.
Yep.
It says $335, but when you click on it, it says $435. The price goes up once you get closer to checkout.
Look on if you go back and then look on the right side. It's got the seller who's got it for that lower price.
Oh, why does it advertise it here then? Why wouldn't it
know.
just use the same price? That's because I'm like the average stupid customer that's going to be sorting through this.
They want you, the average stupid customer, to just blindly click through and pay the $100 more. The price. It's $100 more.
That's a pretty
it's just
immoral
a
model.
manipulative scam to try to, squeeze every last nickel and dime out of
my ass.
out of your ass. The
These
consumer.
fuckers. I hate everything. Paper City Gamer, Jeff, thanks, man. Hello from Massachusetts. Hello from
What up?
California. Peace be to you, brother. I'd rather be in Massachusetts right now than California.
What?
COVID COVID's been really shitty lately over here.
I'm
Been cracking
not sure
down.
Massachusetts is well. I have no idea, so I'm not even gonna talk on that. But
Well,
you're right.
I'm just saying, like the stay-at-home orders that are being implemented right now for California are pretty intense. We haven't had
Yeah,
stay-at-home orders like this since the pandemic really first broke out many
since
months ago.
like March, April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I hope you're doing well over there in Massachusetts. I hope the situation there is better there than it is here, and I hope that you're safe with you and your family. Paper City Gamer Jeff, thank you for the
Yes.
donation.
I
Fred
wonder if he
Fajardo,
thought
yeah.
saying hello from Massachusetts was gonna get such a deep answer there. But anyway, no, sorry.
Yeah, he was clearly provoking me. You know.
Obviously, he's trying to dig into the sensitive issues with that incendiary. Anyway,
It's just because I read an article on it recently, and I was like, oh, okay, it just popped
I
in my
I want to
mind.
give a shout out to Crafty right now. I've been meaning to do that for a while. Shout out to
Crafty's
Crafty
the
Hack.
boss.
He has been
He's been
just
crushing it.
picking off the spammers in chat, and he's awesome, and we love him. Thank you, Crafty. And Kyle,
Crafty's the real deal.
put slow mode on for the love of God.
Oh God, is it not on?
I don't know. I can't tell. But
Wait. Oh,
your,
okay.
your
You know
YouTube
what?
chat has been a little chaotic this
On
evening.
the fritz. Um. So yeah, I would have noticed that had I actually had YouTube chat open,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not because right now
That's just the Wild West.
I'm using a single monitor, so I hardly have room for everything that I have on here. Enable slow mode. Let's do 30 seconds. Why is it going so crazy? Has it been like that the whole time?
Well, that's why I was giving a shout out to Crafty because he's been in there doing the Lord's work and
Wait,
and turning off.
I
He's
put on I put on slow mode, but it's still okay. It's slowing down slowly.
Mhm.
Do I need to do 60 seconds?
Slow mode takes a while to turn on. That's why it's called slow mode. You click the button and it's like,
It's still going crazy. It's still going ballistic on my end. What the hell?
what? It looks okay to me.
Okay. Okay, now it's slow. 60 seconds was
Oh,
the
slow
trick.
mode is on. I see it right there.
Okay,
Send a
cool.
message every 1 minute.
Beautiful. Okay.
But if everyone in chat is trying to send a message, it's still gonna look pretty fast because
Sure.
all of so many sexy, wonderful people watching the stream this evening.
Mm, especially sexy.
I'm pandering. I'm pandering. Is it working? You guys are
It's
all
working.
you guys are
You-
all very attractive.
You know it's working.
Very attractive and
Oh yeah. I want all of you.
kind of just a little bit aroused right now.
Slightly stimulated.
What I'm trying to.
I'm red hot. Red hot right here. Fred Fajardo.
Speaking
Let's
of
move
red
on.
hot, Pup Shepherd with the next donation.
No, you
oh,
forgot
no.
Fred Fajardo.
Oh,
So
I
I
jumped down.
overbought.
Sorry.
I overbought a load of MSI 3090s last week. What? Looking to sell some? If anyone knows anyone who's looking free delivery in Shenzhen area, you're joking.
Fred.
You're full of it. You're
Sneaky
full of it.
Fred.
I like how he says free delivery in Shenzhen area, and yet he's paying with Filipino pesos.
That's true. I have a feeling
Mm.
Fred is
A little sketchy there.
is trying to pull one over.
Little sus there, Fred. Little
Mhm.
sus. But thank you for the donation nonetheless. Ira Lee, $20. Get a beer. That's probably in response to something we said much earlier in the show that I can't think of right now. But I'm sticking with whiskey.
Or maybe just here's $20. Get beer. The instructions are to buy beer with that money.
I've been drinking beer very
Right.
infrequently. All right, Randy Bear, $5. Just got a 6900 XT installed on my PC and receiving a black screen with the motherboard VGA LED on. The card works on an older PC. Any advice?
Black screen with VGA LED on. Card works. The card works on an older PC.
Are you sure it's connected properly? Power, you have good power supply for it. Connections are secure. Did you try a different PCIe slot? Maybe try putting it in a different
try
PCIe
a
slot.
Different PCIe slot. I mean,
Update. Make sure your
my
BIOS is
mind,
up to
my
date.
mind is going to PCIe Gen 3, Gen 4 issues because that was what caused me some trouble kind of recently. But that was with the riser cable. Um, yeah, it's hard to say. Good that you have a different PC to drop the card into and test it.
Yeah.
Do you have a working other card to plug
Mm-hmm.
into your current PC to see
Right.
if your current PC has an issue with the motherboard slot or something like that?
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of where I would go to next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, BIOS update. Try running everything at default settings. Um,
That's a good start.
yeah.
By the way, I see a lot of people in chat asking what I'm drinking. It's a whiskey blend called Blackened. I've never had it before, but it's quite good. It goes down really smooth.
Hmm.
It's 45% and it's called Blackened because apparently it's finished in black brandy casks. It's it's tasty. The lady at the cash register, she was like, "Have you had this one before?" I was like, "No." Is it good? She's like, "I like it." I was like, "Okay, cool." Yeah, and she was like, "Yeah, I had it the other day and wasn't expecting much, but was pleasantly surprised." It's like, "Okay,
The lady at the cash
then
register sounds
I
very
will be
like kind
too."
of sensual and like she's coming on to you the way you're describing it. Is
Yeah,
anyone
right.
else picking up on that? Are you giving a accurate representation of her the way she's
Verbatim, verbatim. It's like
sounds like
it's
you
really
should
good. It's a
sounds like
really
a
good.
you go ahead.
She was like, "It's a really good whiskey. What are you doing later tonight?" And I was just like, "Oh, thanks for the recommendation." And I just walked out.
Well, there you go. I mean, don't want to come on too strong. That's
No.
it's a liquor store I would continue to patronize, though.
It's a very good liquor store.
Good.
Very good options there. All right, let's move on to No, we got Randy. Pup Shepherd, $5. Wags, wags, licks, licks. How are you guys doing? Do you think x86 will be replaced by ARM in the next 10 years on consumer PCs? Would you date a furry or a pup?
Oh, that's quite a two contrasting questions you're
Mm,
asking there, pup. All
mm-hmm.
right. As far as replacement by ARM, I think x86 is starting to show its age to some degree, and I think we're probably looking at a transition from that to at some point in the future. I don't know what that's going to look like. It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think the stuff that Apple's done just recently is hopefully going to be a bit of a kick in the pants to some to I mean hopefully both Intel and AMD when it comes to like looking at how computers are used and just what's going to provide the most performance for people. Um, I hope that we continue to have a robust set of options for building our own computers because obviously that's a big part of what I do and also something that I enjoy being able to do is kind of picking and choosing your own parts to meet your needs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's going to be suddenly replaced by ARM, um, but we'll have to see. You have to wait and see what the market leaders like Intel and AMD decide to do. Looking at like what the rumors for Intel's 10 nanometer stuff and them going with kind of big little cores and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
is more towards kind of the way ARM chips have been designed and stuff. But yeah, that's a good question.
That was really
Uh,
just a lead into the more important question, which is,
More
would
important
you date
question.
a furry or a pup?
So I should point out I don't know the distinction of a pup. I know what a furry I know furry is. I'm married, so no, because I'm married, and you know,
There's a
got a wife
video.
already.
If you Google pup versus furry, the first thing pops up as a YouTube video: furries versus human pups. So you can watch it. It's a 10-minute long video, and I'm sure it explains all the burning questions you've been dying to ask.
Okay,
The
so
topic.
just like to look it up, Kyle.
Yeah, I can't answer that yet because I haven't watched the video. I don't, I'm not educated enough to
Yeah,
have an opinion.
yeah.
Really,
I've
is what it is.
I'm in the same boat there. So that's
That's the
my
only reason why I'm not answering it right now.
all right. Well,
All right, thanks, pup. We love you.
Kyle's leaving that door open. Let's just put it that
A,
way.
A, try everything once. Bazinga X, Paul. Next Pi needs to have RGB.
RGB.
How do you do that in a pie?
You could, I don't know.
The the
There's
strips,
there are red apples and there are green apples
RGB
and then you
strips.
could drop some blue food coloring into the crust.
Oh. Instead of the what do you call it? The lasset? No, what's it called? Like the
Little lattice top.
lattice, lasset. The lattice top. So instead of using dough, you use like the rainbow colored sour strips,
Oh, okay. I
right? So
gotcha.
you kind of make it almost make it like a sweet candy pie.
It tastes
Then you could
horrible.
RGB it. Oh, it'd be the worst.
If you tried to cook
But it would
that
look.
in the oven, it would all just sort of melt and ooze together. And
That'd be pretty horrible. No, you'd have to like dye
yeah.
the dough somehow.
I
Like
like
some
the concept. I'll
frosting.
give it some thought.
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah.
ways it could be done.
I mean, you have something to strive for in 2021, an RGB pie.
That's
You
good,
know,
you know. You
that's
gotta
one of your
have
stretch goals now.
it's good to have goals.
Because you do a pie thing, you do a pie video every year almost. It seems like it's been sort of tradition at this point. So you got to step it
Well,
up.
I've done
You
2 pie
gotta
videos and then
right.
I did a hot ones in between.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a Thanksgiving video for 3 years in a row now, which I'm kind of like, really Thanksgiving video, but somehow it's just worked out that way. I
Yeah.
don't I don't actively try to do holiday videos for the holidays that come up, but
Yeah.
if I see one is coming up and something occurs to me and I'm like, oh, I could do that, then I'll go forward with it. Um,
Sure.
but anyway,
Those are always fun.
I like pie.
Very wholesome. Pie is good.
Thank you.
Pie is life. All right, Ryan Fisher. If you were to hold a giveaway, could I send you an MSI 3090 and 2080 Super for it? I always thought it'd be good to contribute to the PC Master Race community. Whoa, you're offering to send us a 3090 and 2080 Super? For
That's
what?
crazy, Ryan. You're crazy. You're a crazy person.
No, no. I mean, it's very much appreciated, but
Yes.
we Paul, I think I speak on behalf of Paul as well when I say that we feel very confident with the prizes that we have already. And that it's going to be, very appealing to the masses enough, to the point where we don't feel like we're lacking in any kind of giveaway, options. So, but that is still a super generous offer. If you
Yes.
were being serious about that, that is incredibly generous of you. So, I think Ryan, you could probably find someone in your life who could actually use those cards. Maybe can really benefit from those GPUs a lot and would appreciate it immensely. And just helping out your local community or those around you in that way would be phenomenal if you're really looking to sort of give them up and don't have a need for them. But the gesture is very much appreciated. Thank you.
I agree.
Crafty. Shout. Any thoughts about putting your used bathwater on your merch stores? Ooh, I read that this is very popular and all fans will buy some to drink and vape with. Yeah.
You know, kind of
Oh man.
on that same topic, I heard that OnlyFans is like super profitable and like it has an immense user base that's
Oh.
expanding rapidly
Oh
every
yeah.
day. So I feel
Oh
like I
yeah.
should make an OnlyFans. And
Totally.
I don't
I
think
gotta like.
the bath water. I mean, I don't really take baths, but
I feel like I did a pre-roll ad. It was an integration for.
for OnlyFans.
It was like one of those password managers. It was like LastPass, I think.
Okay.
And I had to like type in, like you couldn't use any big brand names or whatever for when you were typing in the names of companies that you were logging into. So
Oh, okay.
I typed in Lyle's OnlyFans, and that was like the number one comment on the whole video. I don't even remember what video it was tied to, but everyone's like, I would totally subscribe to that. Oh my god, is it Lyle's feet? It was just like, oh my god,
Uh,
there's a market for this. I should get on this right away. You know, if I was smart and had any business sense, I would have created that yesterday. That account would have tons of Lyle feet on it. Lyle, like OnlyFans is just it's a weird thing. It's like one of those. Oh my God, we're in a different world than we were 5, 10 years ago,
if
for
you're on
sure.
Twitch, different variations of the term cream pie have been enabled because people are talking about my video. I made a chocolate cream pie. You can't just block cream pie for anyone because people try to make it some, you know, other term like definition for it.
A chocolate cream pie?
Yeah,
Does your wife know?
Yeah, she joined in. She participated.
She participated.
Yeah,
She feels
she really went
cream pie.
she really went to town on it, I would say.
She really went to town.
enjoyed it immensely. Um
Was there lots of crust afterwards?
the crust is the best part.
Jeez Louise. All right. We have a viewer discretion warning on our stream, don't we?
Did we? Did you give the
I
warning
hope so.
this time?
I really
It's something that we've forgotten on occasion.
But the bathwater idea
people
is actually
know, though.
genius.
People know we're gonna.
Yeah.
You can't just look at us and be like.
But you know, there's that one guy or one girl who's like, "It's my first time tuning into you guys live," and they might just be scarred right now. They might just be traumatized. Oh.
Every time we're at an event
Oh,
and somebody comes up and it's like there's been like father-son combos that have come up to me at an event and said they watched, and like the kid's like 10 years old, and I'm like, I really hope that they don't watch the live show. Like I feel like you don't watch the live show. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh god.
Oh man.
But that doesn't. But I'm not going to change my behavior for that.
I had to explain.
I don't think we get too out of line.
I had to explain Lyle to a parent, like
usually
a pair of parents, because at LTX, the kid loved Lyle, and he was like a white kid. He was a white family. He was just the whitest kid you knew, and he was doing Lyle impressions at home.
Oh no!
And his parents are like, "What are you doing? Where are you getting the source material from?" It's like, "Oh, it's Bitwit. He's doing all these like Lyle sketches. They're amazing." And his parents were there. They had to have been good parents to like bring their child to an event like LTX and support his interests and his hobbies, you know. So they were good parents. And then this kid was waiting in line to like get my signature, or you know, like to talk to me or whatever. And when he came up with both of his parents too. We started talking about the Lyle thing, and they were just like, yeah, we just like we're not sure, like I don't know if we get it, you know. And I explained. I'm not going to repeat it, but I just explained my philosophy behind Lyle. And
there's a philosophy.
There's a philosophy, or just how I approach it in terms of like, okay, you guys shouldn't take this too seriously. You know, I'm not making statements about anything that you're thinking I'm making. Like it's just for the lulz and stuff. And you know, it was more elaborate than that. But by the end of it, we were all laughing together, and it seemed like they genuinely felt way more comfortable about what their child was watching on YouTube, in terms of at least you know, being subscribed to my channel.
You know,
but it was an interesting interaction, having to like explain Lyle to parents of a kid that watches my, you know what I mean? It's like I've never had to do that in my life. It was really bizarre. It was really surreal, but it's a very unique experience for sure.
But you know, you treat the young ones as adults. You respect that they, you know, they have discerning minds and intelligence, and you explain things to them. And I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Anyway.
So anyway,
what were
we were doing donations and stuff, and we were on data queue, I think. So thanks for the years of content, boys. It's not too late for a 2024 presidential campaign run for Lyle.
Oh.
I mean, looking at Paul's shirt, I do get ideas. Sometimes I do want to, you know,
inspirational.
Pick up the phone, call up my twin brother, and say, "Hey, you know what?
I never plugged this in.
You're a sadistic sociopath, but you might do a good job running the country." You never know. You never know. Paul?
What?
Where are you going?
Shut up.
Stop it. You're not allowed down there anymore.
Don't judge me.
You can come up with the rest of us. You don't have to be. You have to put yourself down like that.
I like it down here.
We don't want you degraded. No. We're equals. Come up, Paul. It's safe.
It's
It's
just,
a safe space.
that's fun. All right, sorry, my laptop shut down because I never plugged in the charger. Uh,
That explains it. All right.
yeah.
Holy shit! Is this serious?
Wait, what happened?
Gordon Ung?
Really?
Fucking Gordon was in here?
The
How do I get
Gordon?
that shirt, Paul? I got kids. This is all I can afford. Dude, Gordon's the shit. If you guys
I love
haven't
Gordon.
followed Gordon Ung on Twitter yet, you should follow him. He's like a legend in the PC space. He started for Maximum PC, right?
I
Like
believe it was back when it was Boot.
Boot, well over a decade ago, and the guy's just super chill. We've had the privilege of working with him over the years and seeing him at countless events and stuff in the industry. And he's just always just such a cool guy, like super cool, very knowledgeable, and just extremely nice and friendly. And then I recently did a Computer Chronicles React video where I was watching an episode from 2001, almost 20 years ago, and he was in it. 20 years younger Gordon Ma-Ung was in it, and I had no clue that he was going to be in there, and I was floored. I was like, holy
Was it
shit.
was it Gordon
What an
and
OG.
Will Smith?
And Will Smith. Not the Will Smith you guys are thinking about, not the one from West Philly.
Will Smith from Twitter, the
Will
guy
Smith
who
from Twitter.
actually has the @WillSmith Twitter.
Dude, that is insane. I need to follow him right now.
Yeah, he's old school too.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, seeing Gordon on that show was pretty incredible. Super cool. Yeah, but anyway, thanks Gordon for the donation. Appreciate it. You can get that if you really want that shirt. You can get it at my store, bitwit.tech. It'll be there. It's waiting for you. Bushy1147. They all taste like sour grapes to me.
That sounds kind of bitter.
A little salty, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
Me neither. I don't.
My memory isn't
It's
that
interesting
good.
going through the comments because they might be from a while ago and they might
Right.
be directly referencing what we were talking about at the time. And I don't remember anything that I've talked about in the last
No,
hour or so.
not at all. I have a goldfish memory, so
It's all gone.
those comments are lost on me. Sorry, but thank you, Bushy, for the donation. We appreciate it. Coziest
Oh, wine.
man.
You're right. Sorry, it's chat reminder. It's probably talking about wine. We
Oh,
were
the
talking
wine.
about fancy wine. They all taste like sour grapes. Okay.
Got it.
Explain.
Wow. Yes.
Thanks, Victor
Absolutely.
Skoo. You have a much better memory than we do.
Coziest man. 499. Wine is for Mac users. Huh. Is it? I mean, I
I
like
mean, it
wine.
can be. It can be for wine is for lots of people.
Wine is for PC
people
users
who
too.
enjoy wine.
Yeah.
I think.
Or whiskey.
Yeah.
Jeremy Atienza. This is contribution for that Parmigiano Reggiano you're gonna pair with that 2005 Chianti. Frickin' tannins.
That's awesome.
Nice. Appreciate it, Jeremy. We'll definitely use it accordingly.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Could use some Chianti. I haven't had a good Chianti in a while. JT. Thank you, Justin Timberlake, for the $5 donation. I was hoping a little bit more, considering your status, but we'll take it. I have a GTX 1660 Ti, Core i7-9750H, 16 gigs of RAM, and game installed on SSD. Will I even be able to play Cyberpunk 2077? By the way, love your content and learned a lot from you. Cool. JT, I think considering that the bare minimum specs you would need to run Cyberpunk 2077 from the article that we referenced earlier, which, according to Gamers Nexus, is like the bare minimum amount of performance you can expect because that was just a DRM version that is going to have significantly crippled performance. You can probably get away with playing the game at 1080p, medium settings, no ray tracing. Probably fine. You'd probably be okay. I don't know. I can't obviously say if you'd be getting 60 FPS or higher.
What was this graphics card again?
1660 Ti.
Yeah,
which is like around 1070 performance.
Recommended 1080 settings is a 1660 Super. So you're fine. You should be fine at 1080.
Yeah, it's not going to look glorious, but you will be able to play it reasonably well if you crank down the settings and you're not ray tracing or anything. So I would say go for it, man.
That says it's at high settings, 1080p, 1660 Super, so you should be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll be
but
alright, man.
yeah, mess with some settings to get yourself a playable frame rate. You might I think that's aiming for 60 frames per second. So depending on your monitor, you may or may
Mm-hmm.
not need more than that. But there you go.
Yep. Flamong Ol, thank you for 50 Norwegian krona. I pay you to turn on slow mode. P.S. I will pay you too, crafty.
That was a crafty
Double
added
pay.
that extra comment because it's
Yes.
crafty.
Yes, he did.
So crafty owes you
No, yeah.
money now because you did turn on slow mode eventually.
Yeah. Yes. I will shift all these donations to you, crafty.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, slow mode is a gift. It's a gift that I
Useful.
should use more liberally. Sheena Yuri, hi. What's your thought on Cyberpunk being reported as spreading transphobia? I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm not educated enough on the topic to really comment much about it. In terms of what Cyberpunk's relationship to the trans community is. I know that there was that controversial in-game ad that had sort of a trans-looking character that was very hypersexualized. That I think from what I know is that that in-game ad doesn't offend me or anything. And obviously, like you have to bear in mind that I'm not someone who's transgender or even yeah, like I'm not part of that community. But I think for me, there's a difference between exploiting a community and making a statement about how society views a community. And I think that sometimes that gets twisted in the narrative, and sometimes it can be mistaken that instead of actually trying to make a statement, they're exploiting it. I don't think CD Projekt Red had any intention of, you know, exploiting that community. But again, there could be other facets. There could be other pieces of information here that I'm just not aware of because I just have not done any research about this. I've only seen what I've seen from bits and pieces of articles and stuff. Um, but that's the last thing that anyone really wants is for any video game, any exciting launch to be sort of, you know, I don't know, uh, have its thunder stolen away from something that's more controversial, I guess. Like, just enjoy the game. Like, that's the ideal launch is to just be able to enjoy the game, enjoy the developer's artistic interpretation of the world that they've created, and making a game is like making a movie. Like that's why movies are so fascinating. It's like someone actually spent so much time and money and energy into creating this piece of art, and I feel like a video game is exactly the same way. And yeah, it's too bad when things like that get in the way. Whether there's actual grounds for being upset or not, or being triggered or not, um, it is too bad that that's potentially something that's going to bring the game down in terms of public reception. Um, I don't know. What do you guys think, chat? They only exploit their employees. I know that they've been working crazy overtime to get the game done on time, and even then it was delayed several times. Yeah, I mean, I've seen certain reviews that are talking about the transphobia thing, or talking about like, oh, they're like transgender characters were underrepresented in the game, which I don't know. I feel like in any other game, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm offended because there wasn't the trans community wasn't represented. But I think maybe in this context, it's slightly different. Maybe because of that ad, because I think one article I read was like the ad was plastered. That controversial ad, is plastered everywhere in the game. Like everywhere you go, there's that energy drink ad with like the sort of non-binary, super hypersexualized character advertising it. But as you go about the game, there's nothing else in the narrative that provides context to that ad. Um, so if anything, it doesn't seem offensive to me. It feels like just a missed opportunity in a role playing sense, or in a storytelling element where like you could have tied that into the whole plot, or the actual narrative of the game, where it just seems like a missed opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean, to me, it doesn't seem like it's you know like triggering or anything. But again, I'm, yeah, I'm not exactly a part of that community, so I can't see the situation through someone else's eyes necessarily. But
I I
Paul,
hadn't I haven't heard anything about any of this, so I don't
hmm,
really have any frame of reference. I think in any I think in addressing any situation, anything like this, it always comes down to intent. And
mm-hmm,
is your intent to uh, be nice and inclusive and be friendly towards your fellow humans, or is your intent to exclude someone because you feel that the way they live or the way they are is somehow wrong? And
mm, yeah,
I think option A is better.
definitely.
That's what it would boil down to for me.
And Crafty mentioned something that's pretty interesting. I read that it was considered inclusive because it's the first major RPG that allowed the player to design their own character as trans. That's it's kind of historical, you know. That's kind of like when fucking Barack Obama got elected. It was like first black president of the United States of America, you know. This is kind of in that same vein in like nerd culture. Like the first time you're able to create a like officially trans someone who identifies as trans in the in-game character creation stage is kind of a statement of just where society is and the level of acceptance that we're at as a society, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
So I didn't know that, Crafty. Thanks for that bit of info. Um, but we can move on here. Brandon Krauss. All these people complaining that current gen can't run it at 60 FPS. Witcher 3 couldn't be run at 4K 60 FPS till RTX 2080 reliably. Yeah,
4K is challenging for a lot of different games. 4K is
yeah,
a
it
lot of
is.
pixels. So, yeah.
Understandable. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all expecting the performance of um, Cyberpunk to increase, to improve over time as we see more patch updates, more driver optimizations. It's going to take a while, but because it's such a huge game, but I think the audience is there. You know, there's enough hype. There's enough people that are going to buy the game. The developers are committed. We already know that. And you know, NVIDIA's invested so much time and energy and money into CD Projekt Red's work already that I can't imagine them not trying to optimize their drivers to their fullest. And AMD is going to try to stay competitive as well. So I think it's just going to take some time. But again, it comes with the territory of PC gaming. Um, Trav Smitty, is it unethical to use a bot to command the bots on a 5950X CPU? Is it unethical to use a bot to combat the bots on a 5950X CPU? What bots is he talking about? Is he talking about like
Well,
scalper
you're talking
bots?
about using a bot to purchase a CPU as soon as it comes into stock or something like that,
Oh,
um, which has
no.
been a lot of the accusations. I don't know, ethics of using bots and stuff like that. I feel like that's it's actually there's a pretty broad amount of ways to look at something like that because you're looking at like, well, is anyone doing anything illegal? Um, no, then people should be able to do whatever they want because it's a free country and people should be able to
Sure.
do what they want. So if people want to use a bot to buy up a bunch of stock and resell it, then they're just
Yeah.
taking advantage of their ability to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but then there's people who look at somebody who's like, the people who have the eBay listings where they just took a picture of their pile of 30 graphics cards or PlayStation 5s or whatever, and they're like, selling PlayStation 5, and you can just tell, they got a bunch of them, they're reselling them,
Yeah.
they're raking in some level of profit for that, and people look at that and be like, that sucks because, um, you know, they're just skimming off the top, and they're forcing families or whoever wants to buy these things to enjoy them to pay more money. Anyway,
Yeah.
ethics is it's hard to say ethically what is right or wrong in that situation. I would say right now, if you really really want 5950X and you know what you're doing, and you be safe about it, and you want to use one just to scoop a unit up for yourself, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, absolutely not.
Personally, the people who are trying to buy a bunch of them to resell them, that's where I have more of an issue.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, he's
but
saying
I do try to approach it from I do try to also look at it from that capitalist perspective. People are
right
there's a supply and demand, and people are taking advantage of the undersupply and the huge
over
demand
demand.
and all that. So
I think the fact that he's saying, to combat the bots on a 5950X CPU, like he's talking about a singular unit, where it seems like it's
yeah.
for himself. It's not like, can I combat the bots to buy all the 5950X CPUs so that I can then resell them just like they're doing? So I think in
Uh,
that sense, it's like, dude, you're fighting fire with fire, but you're kind of doing it against the evildoers who are doing it for profit and gain, whereas you're just trying to game. You just want a CPU for work or for gaming purposes. You just want it to have for your own personal enjoyment, which is what the chip is meant for. That's why AMD is selling it, is so that
mhm.
people can enjoy them, not so that people can make. The intention of these companies isn't to sell products that eventually turn into huge profits for other people. That's not what AMD and NVIDIA is about. They're about putting their hardware in the hands of gamers and content creators and stuff and workstation professionals so that they can enjoy their products and use them the way that they're intended. It's not to just it's not purely for capitalistic gains. So I don't think it's unethical for you to use a bot to combat shitty bots that are trying to fuck with the game just so that you can, reestablish why these products exist in the first place, to be used as intended by an individual user for whatever the fuck you want to use it for.
Mhm.
So go
So I
for it.
guess
If you have
our
if
answer
you
would
have a
be
super bot,
it is not unethical to do what it seems you want to do. So
I don't think
go
so.
ahead, Trav Smitty.
I don't think
Just
so.
just be careful. You know, you're dealing with, you know, just be careful.
Bot
Yeah.
vengeance might be a thing. Flamong, thank you again for the 50 Norwegian krona dilemma. I just bought a 5900X and I already have a 3950X. Would you call that an upgrade or downgrade? Better for games, worse-ish for content creation? The
Yeah.
5900X is going to be faster for gaming. Has
Mhm.
higher IPC, can clock higher. So it's just going to be a better gaming CPU overall. Your 3950X is probably going to be maybe slightly better in multi-threaded workloads because it has additional cores and threads at its disposal. So it kind of just depends on what you prioritize. If you want the absolute best gaming performance, then use the 5900X. If you value your professional tasks more, you want more rendering performance because that's what is important to you more so than gaming, then maybe use the 3950X still. That's about it though.
Yeah, I agree. Um, but yeah, 5900X is awesome. So
Yeah, it's great.
you
No,
should
you're
use
you're
it.
in a good position there. It's Cataclysm, $5. Hey Kyle, I tagged you in a tweet about a buddy's PC that I helped him with today. You should check it out. Please avert your eyes of this horror. All right, cool. Yeah, I get so many. Thank you for your email or your tweet, but I get so many submissions every day, both on my Twitter account, my email, YouTube messages, all over the place, and it's really hard to sift through them all. It's like a part-time job to really go through them all, so I usually don't, because I have so many other pending actual like emails and projects that I have to go through that it's really hard for me to catch those and I can't make any promises, but I do appreciate the effort to sort of connect with that. Um, Joker 927 benchmark numbers will need revisiting. That's the story. Terrible for reviewers that benchmark a pre-release game and then must do it again. Hmm.
Let's talk about the Cyberpunk situation.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the story.
Yeah.
Everyone wait for reviews that come out after launch day for Cyberpunk to get a better idea of performance.
It's
'Cause
it's
this never
terrible,
should.
but it's not because right now that's the only thing that they can do is like just test what we have where we're at right now in this point in time. And they're going to get a tremendous amount of hits on it. They're going to get a lot of views. They're going to get ad revenue from it, from all that. and then they get to double down on that once game ready drivers are available and day one patches are available. Then they get to rerun all those tests and then reference and utilize all the data that they've already run previously to see what that measurement was. How much better is the game's performance now that we have all these additional optimizations? So I think it's, as from a content creator's perspective, it's actually beneficial. Allagash White, someone asking what your beer is?
Yes, someone in chat asked what I was drinking.
Noise. That was a good question, though, Joker. Or a good comment. Willie Silicon. Can I ship you guys a used potato PC to give away?
No. Please do
You
not.
know, yeah, no, honestly, we're good. We're honestly good. Because the other thing is, like, you have to realize that all these giveaways that we're doing there's also a bit of work involved with them. We have to create giveaway pages for each of these prizes and set those up, and then we have to choose giveaway winners that sometimes don't respond. Oftentimes, you'll believe it or not, will not respond to like, you just won a $3,000 gaming PC. Crickets. And then you gotta like, okay, who was second on the list? Let's pick another one. And you gotta reach out to them and then do correspondence with them. And hopefully they respond. And if they don't, you gotta do a third one. And then okay, let's say finally someone bites. Yes, we got a winner. Now it's like, where do you live? Give me your contact information. Got to handle all the shipping. Is it okay to ship there? There's so many logistics that go into a single giveaway for just one product that when, a lot of people offer, hey, I want to throw in this, I want to pitch in that, it really does add up to a lot more hours of our time that oftentimes we don't have. So while it's very appreciated and while it's a very kind gesture, we are fully loaded on giveaways for this charity stream that we're doing on Saturday. You guys will not be disappointed. There is going to be a higher chance of you guys winning something on that stream than pretty much any other giveaway that we do throughout the rest of the year, where there's like, maybe what, 200,000-300,000 views on a video, just a ton of submissions. This is going to be a lot more low key. It's going to be a stream. There's not going to be as much traffic, being aware of these giveaways, so you have a much higher chance of winning something, honestly, than you otherwise would. So we're good. We're good. Thank you, though, Willie Silicon. We do appreciate it. And I think that was the last donation. So yes. I think at this point we just roll through some Johnsons and we out.
Indeed. Yeah.
Dog.
And then yeah, because
doggy dog.
The place we're picking up dinner from closes in 20 minutes. So.
Oh geez. Okay, we'll roll through these fast then. I'll start off with Carlos. Thank you, Carlos, from Pasadena, Texas. I didn't know there was a city. I didn't know there was a city in Texas called Pasadena as well. There's also one in California. CPU Cooler Gaming Mousepad. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Johnson for Garland from Garland C, also from Texas. Got the Thumbscrew Gaming Desk Mat. Thank you, and a Johnson for you.
James M. from Massachusetts. Thank you for picking up a Lyle Distress print. I think I owe Paul some commission for that one. Screw with Confidence Heather Olive T-shirt and the stainless steel bottle opener with the Bitwit logo. Thank you.
Johnson for Peter W. From Georgia. He got a bunch of stuff. Trapline shirt, Thumbscrew, the Warhol 8-bit, lots of stuff. Thanks you. Awesome hardware merch too.
Epic.
Great job, Peter.
Thank you, James, for picking up a CPU cooler and Flash BIOS full-color black ceramic mug, as well as some bamboo coasters. Those are really nice. And 2 Lyle shirts. Paul, I seriously owe you some marketing funds.
There's something to be said about showing off a product for, such
Indeed.
Been wearing it so well all night. Anyway, Matthew C. from Oceanside, California. Lovely Oceanside, California. Got the Heather Navy Thumbscrew zipper hoodie. Johnson for you. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Okay, we've got, was Peter a double Johnson? Peter W?
Peter W is a double Johnson, yes.
Nice. Thank you so much, Peter. You ordered 6 different items from the store, so I'll just say huge thank you for picking up all those. I appreciate it.
Huge order from Peter.
Thanks, man.
My final Johnson goes out to James B. from Maine, Holden, Maine, and he got the gaming desk mat as well, the Thumbscrew one. Thank you very much, Johnson.
Epic. I've got a few more, so I'm just going to read off names. So Matthew gets a double Johnson. Thank you so much, Matthew, from Oceanside for picking up a bunch of stuff from the store. Brian K, thank you very much, sir. We've got one for Jonathan V. Jonathan V, you're a freaking boss. And we've got Chris C from Toronto, Ontario, which I miss Toronto. Toronto's a fun place.
Yeah.
Benjamin H from LA. Hey, what's up, dude? You're in our backyard. And then finally, one more from Jacob T. And you got a lot of things from the store as well. So thank you guys. Thank you all so much. It means a lot. It's
Thanks
a
to
huge,
everyone
huge help.
also who has donated to the Awesome Hardware 2020 charity page. We've raised $4,185 already. So we're
That's
like almost a
amazing.
third of the way to the $15,000 goal.
That's
So
incredible.
if you guys are able to join us on Saturday, we'll be aiming to kick off at around 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that'll be cool. We'll play some games, raise some money for kids.
I honestly can't wait. It's always like one of the funnest days of the year for me.
It is.
Um,
I'm excited.
Super stoked. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for us. So have a good night.